Usually when someone gets a check-in system in novels, they're instantly showered with luxury cars, mega mansions, and literal mountains of cash. But my system? Nope. My system didn't give me a single dime. Its only function so far was upgrading my physical appearance. Right now, I'm at the university freshman welcome party, silently throwing a pity party for myself in my head. What's the point of this system? I was born broke, and even with a supernatural cheat code, my wallet is still crying for help. What does this system want me to do? Become a supermodel? Live off being a sugar baby for rich people? I can complain all I want, but I still have to keep checking in. After just 1 year of daily check-ins, I had transformed from a country bumpkin into a top-tier, breathtakingly handsome guy. That night, my roommates and I snuck into the freshman welcome party just to get a closer look at the stunning Lily, the school's absolute goddess and the MC of the night. The moment we sat down, a holographic screen, visible only to me, popped up. Ding! Host has received a random check-in opportunity. Without hesitation, I hit the check-in button. Check-in successful. Reward: an Aston Martin, currently parked in the nearby lot. Seeing this, my eyes lit up like high beams. Oh baby, after waiting for what felt like a century, I finally got something good! A smirk of pure excitement crept onto my face. Checking the system's notes, I immediately stood up, ready to sprint to the parking lot. Brad, our dorm chief, grabbed my shirt, looking at me like I was crazy. Bro, where are you going? Lily is about to go on stage. We've waited forever for this. If you leave now, you'll ruin the vibe. But all I could think about was my brand new supercar. School goddess. Who cares about a goddess when I have V12 engine waiting for me? I waved him off and walked out. Just remembered I have a life or death emergency. Catch you later. As my roommates watched me leave in a hurry, Timmy, the youngest in the dorm, muttered, "What the heck is more important than looking at pretty girls?" A few minutes later, I arrived at the parking lot outside the campus. From a distance, I spotted the pristine white Aston Martin. The car's body sparkled under the streetlights like it was standing on its own red carpet, effortlessly drawing the envious and jealous glares of every passerby. I couldn't help but whistle. Man, an Aston Martin! Just looking at this thing increases my cool factor by 1000%. Overjoyed, I pressed the unlock button on the key fob. The car let out a mesmerizing chirp, its headlights flashing quickly like a sleeping beast, suddenly opening its glowing eyes, ready to pounce. I opened the door and slid into the driver's seat. It hugged my body perfectly. The comfort was unreal. Glancing at the interior, it featured dark gray carbon fiber accents. Minimalist, but screaming, "I cost more than your life." I started the engine, itching to hit the main road and feel its raw power. But right as I merged onto the street, I hit a red light. Like a good law-abiding citizen, I stopped. That's when I noticed a brand new Porsche parked not too far away. The girl behind the wheel immediately caught my eye. She had long hair tied in a loose ponytail, revealing a small oval face. Her beauty was pure and incredibly adorable. Her eyes were like a startled deer covered in a thin layer of morning mist, giving off a helpless, girl-next-door vibe that instantly triggered anyone's protective instincts. The older girl in the passenger seat was currently frowning and nagging. "Chloe, you need to be careful. Check your mirrors. Look at your surroundings." She even tapped the glass to emphasize her point. Chloe, the driver, turned her head. She looked obedient on the outside, but her expression said she was internally screaming, "My sister is such a nag!" She nervously gripped the steering wheel, eyes fixed straight ahead. Her sister, Mia, kept talking non-stop until Chloe's brain was practically frying. Just as Chloe tried to shift slightly to escape the noise, Mia's eyes widened. She screamed, "Brake! Brake now, Chloe!" Chloe slammed on the brakes with all her might, but it was too late. The Porsche lost control and, bam, crashed right into the back of my car. I was literally just chilling, listening to music, and enjoying my new ride when the car shook violently, throwing me forward. I looked in the rearview mirror. Are you kidding me? Day one, and I've already been rear-ended? In the car behind, Mia quickly recovered from the shock. After making sure her little sister wasn't hurt, she prepared to unleash a lecture of epic proportions. But Chloe frantically covered Mia's mouth. The more Chloe thought about it, the more frustrated she got, eventually playfully pinching her sister to make her stop talking. Mia finally surrendered. Chloe looked at the curves of my supercar. Knowing she was entirely at fault, she took a deep breath and stepped out of her car. She was trying to be brave, but she looked terrified. I walked over to her. She immediately bowed her head, apologizing with utter sincerity. "I'm so sorry. I'm terrible at driving. I've caused you so much trouble." Right then, the system popped up. Ding! Random check-in opportunity triggered. I hit it instantly. Check-in successful. Received a 5x God-tier random reward bundle. Rewards include Villa number 1 at the Imperial Gardens, a Bugatti Veyron, the small goal of 10 days skill, the ultimate freeloader skill, and the God-tier cashback skill. Note on cashback skill: if a beauty with a score over 95 spends money on you, you will receive a random multiplier cashback. Seeing me space out, Chloe thought I was boiling with rage. Panic set in. She quickly stammered, "It's all my fault. I'll take full responsibility." Mia got out of the car and suggested we handle it through insurance. Chloe came over to discuss it with me, and I simply nodded in agreement. She immediately called the insurance company, and we moved to the sidewalk to wait. Feeling incredibly guilty, Chloe ran to a nearby convenience store and bought me a bottle of water. The moment I took the bottle, the system chimed. Ding! Top-tier beauty has spent $2 on you, triggering the million multiplier. Cashback. 2,000 has been transferred to your account. My mood instantly flipped from gloomy rain clouds to bright sunshine. I opened the bottle and took a slow, satisfying sip. Seeing me relax, Chloe finally let out a sigh of relief. It was only then that she actually looked at me and realized, wow, he's really handsome. The insurance agent arrived, took one look at the heavily dented rear of the Aston Martin, and his face turned the color of a ghost. He immediately suggested calling in an independent appraiser. We agreed, and the tow truck hauled my poor, short-lived car away. Chloe apologized to me one last time and asked for my contact info to discuss the repair costs later. We added each other on a messaging app, and the two sisters left. At that moment, my phone buzzed with a bank notification. Looking at my balance shooting from a measly $100 to $2 million, on the outside, I played it cool, like James Bond ordering a martini. On the inside, I was breakdancing on the ceiling. While I was drowning in joy, my phone rang again. It was a local number. I picked it up, and the person on the other end introduced herself as the property manager of Imperial Gardens, asking when I would arrive. Oh right, the mansion I just got. Since my car was currently sitting in a junkyard timeout, I told her I'd take a taxi. The manager said she'd wait at the main gate. I hung up, flagged down a cab, and gave the address. Hearing the destination, the driver slammed the gas pedal like he was launching a rocket. On the way, the driver couldn't stop talking. Man, Imperial Gardens is insane. They built this whole road just for that neighborhood, and it's wider than the main highway. Not a speck of dust anywhere. Only big shots live there. The cheapest villas are tens of millions, and the top-tier ones? Over $1 billion. You can't even buy one just by having money. Then he looked at me through the rearview mirror with burning curiosity. So, what are you going there for? A job interview? Meanwhile, at the Imperial Gardens main gate, the property staff was preparing an emergency, red carpet-level welcome ceremony for the owner of Villa Number 1. The head of security ordered everyone to double-check every detail. Anna, the property manager, stood there in her perfectly tailored black suit holding a contract folder. Her classic outfit only highlighted her stunning figure, making her stand out like a glowing beacon. Her colleagues invited her to wait in the shade, but she stubbornly refused, stating that the owner of Villa Number 1 was too important to risk any mistakes. So when Anna suddenly ran towards a stopping taxi, her colleagues were dumbfounded. No wonder she became a manager at such a young age. With that level of dedication, getting promoted is a given. The taxi had rolled up slowly. The girl standing by the gate looked at it in utter confusion. Only luxury cars go in and out of here. Seeing a taxi is like seeing a unicorn. But the next second, Anna's eyes lit up and she sprinted toward it. Inside the cab, the driver saw the elaborate welcome setup and the giant welcome home banner. His eyes bulged out of his head. Villa Number 1! I've never even heard of it being sold. The price must be astronomical. He kept glancing at the banner, thinking, whoever bought this must have enough power to move mountains. His respect for the mysterious owner shot through the roof. The car stopped. I looked at the massive, majestic neighborhood gates, pulled out my phone, and scanned the QR code to pay the fare. Just as I looked up, Anna was already at the door. Her uniform hugged her curves but couldn't hide her natural elegance. It was a very eye-catching sight. Anna adjusted her clothes slightly, opened the door for me, and greeted me with a voice sweeter than honey. Hello, you must be Mr. Felix? I nodded. Seeing my confirmation, Anna froze. Her beautiful eyes were filled with absolute shock. This guy is the owner of Villa Number 1? He looks like he's barely 20. Who on earth is he? It made sense why she was shocked. As a manager here, she knew exactly how special Villa Number 1 was. It had the best location, the best feng shui, and was crafted by master designers. Countless billionaires had tried to buy it, but failed because they didn't have enough status. That's why it had remained empty. Anna and her colleagues had tried to guess what the owner would look like. Probably some bald, chubby billionaire with a cigar. They never expected a breathtakingly handsome guy fresh out of college, but Anna was a professional. She quickly swallowed her shock, bowed slightly, and said politely, Mr. Felix, I have the ownership contract for Villa Number 1 right here. Please sign it, and I will personally give you a tour and help you settle in. Her sweet voice rang out clearly. The taxi driver heard it, and his entire body went stiff. Wait, what? This kid is the owner of Villa Number 1? He took a deep breath, looking at my face as if I were an alien. If you're that filthy rich, why are you taking a darn taxi? Ignoring the driver's existential crisis, I stepped out of the car. My eyes landed on Anna, who was still bowing. Even though her uniform was buttoned to the top, because I was so tall, looking down gave me a rather spectacular hidden view. I raised an eyebrow, thinking, Manager Anna is definitely going places in her career. Mr. Felix, please follow me. Anna guided me toward the property office. Since I didn't drive, she had a customized golf cart ready to take me straight to the villa. On the way, I took in the layout. Imperial Gardens truly lived up to its top-tier reputation. The landscaping was unique, clearly the work of a master. From a distance, I could tell Villa Number 1 was different. It sat with its back to a mountain, facing a beautiful artificial river. Across the river was the neighborhood's largest garden. The scenery was flawless, filled with rare blooming exotic flowers. The golf cart stopped. Anna hopped out, ran to open the massive front doors and bowed again. Mr. Felix, please come in. I nodded and walked in with the confidence of a king. We passed through the massive courtyard. The flowers were blooming like shy maidens, and not a single speck of dirt could be found anywhere. Everything was perfectly maintained. I'll record your biometric data now. Please wait a moment. Anna worked efficiently, and soon my fingerprints were registered. I placed my finger on the scanner, and the heavy doors clicked open. The grand hall was brilliantly lit, utilizing natural light perfectly. It felt incredibly relaxing. The interior decor was styled like a European palace, luxurious to the extreme, right down to the smallest ornaments. Anna walked behind me, occasionally explaining the features. I listened while soaking in the sheer wealth of the place. This truly is the #1 villa. Mr. Felix, I am also the exclusive manager for your villa, Anna said respectfully. I'll be handling the cleaning and any other arrangements. If you need anything at all, just let me know, and I'll handle it immediately. I nodded. Sounds good. Just then, my phone rang. I checked the caller ID and answered. After listening to the delivery guy, I said, I'll send you the address. Just drop the cargo here. I gave him the Imperial Gardens address. Anna waited for me to hang up before saying, Mr. Felix, if you don't need anything else right now, I'll head back to the office to finalize your registration and grab some supplies. Please rest up. Once I gave the okay, she bowed and left. I continued exploring every corner of my new mansion, eventually heading to the master bedroom to take a quick shower. Not long after, the villa doors opened again. Anna walked in holding a stack of documents that needed my physical signature. Not seeing me, she stood in the first floor hall, organizing her papers. That's when I walked downstairs after my shower, feeling thirsty and looking for some water. Hearing footsteps, Anna looked up. Our eyes locked. I was only wearing a towel wrapped loosely around my waist. My upper body was completely bare, putting my muscles on full display. Anna stared at my abs, freezing in place, before her face turned the shade of a ripe tomato. His physique is insane, she thought. Not just the perfect six-pack and obliques, but there wasn't a single ounce of excess fat. Remembering how I looked in clothes, the classic lean in a suit, ripped when naked build, she couldn't help but let her eyes linger for an extra second before panicking. Felix, she squeaked. Seeing her there, I was slightly startled too. I didn't expect her back so fast. Oops, sorry about that, I said smoothly, turning around and heading back to my room. After getting properly dressed, I came back down. Anna was still standing in the living room, head bowed, pretending to look at her papers. But internally, she was replaying the scene on a loop. Just thinking about my perfect physique made her face burn even hotter. She couldn't resist using her hand to fan herself. While she was drowning in embarrassment, her phone rang. It was a call from the main office. Hello? What is it? She answered quickly. After listening closely, she said, Wait a moment, let me ask Mr. Felix. Without hanging up, she turned to me. Mr. Felix, there's a large transport truck at the main gate saying they have a delivery for you. Should we let them in? Hearing this, a smirk appeared on my face. I nodded. Yep, let them in. Anna quickly approved it, checked her watch, and walked out to wait in front of the villa. Soon a massive transport truck rumbled up. The driver hopped out and approached me. Hello, you must be Mr. Felix, he asked. I nodded. He handed me some paperwork and began shouting orders at his crew to unload the cargo. Careful, a little to the left, gently. They slowly lowered 2 massive tarp-covered boxes. Anna walked up beside me, pointing at the massive crates with utter confusion. Mr. Felix, what on earth did you order? Before I could answer, the workers broke down the crates, revealing 2 large objects covered in sleek fabric. Judging by the shape, Anna's eyes went wide. These are cars. I stood there with my arms crossed, knowing exactly what these were. The 2 supercars from my check-in rewards. Even under the covers, their aggressive, sharp silhouettes were breathtaking. A smile crept up to my eyes. I walked over, grabbed the edge of the first cover, and yanked it off. A Lamborghini Veneno was revealed to the world. The silver-gray body looked absurdly expensive, gleaming with a unique luster under the sun. It was like a silver phantom exuding an irresistible magnetic pull. Instantly, it became the center of everyone's attention. I pressed the key fob. The scissor door slowly swung upward in a pose of pure arrogance and elegance. Looking at the beast, I nodded in satisfaction. Then I walked to the second cover and pulled it off. A dazzling, fiery red, frameless supercar appeared. It sat silently but radiated an overwhelming charisma, looking better than any prop in a Hollywood blockbuster. It was like a seductive supermodel. You couldn't take your eyes off it. Even parked next to the Veneno, it held its own. Beside me, Anna slapped both hands over her mouth to stop herself from screaming. She took a massive breath, her eyes practically popping out of her skull. No wonder he took a taxi. His cars just hadn't arrived yet. This is the true owner of Villa #1. Looking at the supercars, her mind was blown into a million pieces. Seeing me get into the car, she snapped out of it and practically sprinted to open the massive garage doors for me. I smoothly drove both beasts into the garage. I didn't get out right away, taking a moment to admire the interior. Right in the center of the dashboard was an obscenely expensive Hublot clock. The interior materials were absurdly pricey carbon fiber and titanium. It featured holographic touchscreens, allowing me to control the car with simple hand gestures. I played around with it, falling more in love by the second. This is peak engineering. Compared to the Aston Martin that got rear-ended yesterday, this was on another planet. Satisfied, I turned off the screen and hopped into the Lamborghini Veneno. Firing it up sounded like waking an ancient dragon. The power was intoxicating. My only regret was that the driveway was too short to test its top speed. After admiring my new toys, I stepped out and headed back to the villa. Anna followed closely behind. Seeing that I hadn't brought much luggage, she suggested, "Mr. Felix, we offer a bespoke tailoring service for our residents, featuring exclusive designs from top luxury brands. Would you be interested?" Hearing this, I could truly appreciate the premium service of Imperial Gardens. I nodded. "Sure, thanks for the trouble." "No trouble at all. Please wait a moment." Anna quickly went to the storage room, brought out a measuring tape, and prepared to take my measurements. I fully cooperated, raising my arms to make it easier for her. Anna measured me with intense focus. Because we were standing so close, she occasionally brushed against my rock-solid muscles. The heat radiating from my body made her cheeks flush a deep pink. After getting my chest and waist size, she squatted down to measure my legs. I casually looked down and, well, my heart skipped a beat. The view was definitely premium. Watching her work so diligently, I thought, this is top-tier service. Honestly, thank God the property management ordered high-quality uniforms. Those buttons were doing the Lord's work, holding on for dear life. Once she finished, she stood up. "Thank you for your cooperation, Mr. Felix." "Thanks for your hard work, Anna," I replied. She quickly waved her hands, bowing respectfully. "You're too polite, Mr. Felix. It's my job." "Thank you." Hearing her sweet, formal voice, I smirked slightly. "Stop calling me Mr. Felix all the time. We're about the same age. Just call me Felix." Anna was slightly taken aback, but she nodded with a shy smile. "Yes, Felix," she said her goodbyes and hurriedly left the villa. Once outside, whatever she was thinking about made her stop and look back at the mansion. Her beautiful face was flushed red, and a subconscious, radiant smile bloomed on her lips, like a spring flower, mesmerizing and enchanting. She felt incredibly happy today, her steps practically bouncing as she headed back to the office. I spent the rest of the evening exploring every nook and cranny of the villa before going to sleep. The next morning, I woke up early, headed to the garage and picked a car to drive to the university. Not wanting to cause a riot, I parked it in a public lot just outside the campus and walked the rest of the way. Looking up at the sky, I muttered, "Weather changes fast around here. Yesterday was sunny, today looks like a gloomy apocalypse." I quickly walked into my classroom. The moment I stepped through the door, my dorm chief, Brad, yelled, "Yo, Felix is here!" I walked over to our group. Timmy, the youngest, immediately gave up his seat for me. As soon as I sat down, Brad leaned in, his face full of mysterious gossip. "Bro, you missed out big time yesterday." Lily was under the stage lights, looking like an actual angel descended from heaven. It made my heart stop. Mentioning Lily immediately hyped up the rest of the roommates. They started chattering nonstop, praising her to the heavens, their faces full of lingering infatuation. Brad finally snapped out of his fanboy trance and looked at me suspiciously. "Where did you even go yesterday? You ditched the school goddess and didn't even come back to the dorm. That is so not you." I nodded calmly and dropped a bomb. "I'm moving out of the dorms." Everyone froze. Their eyes widened like saucers. "Moving out? Where are you going?" they chorused. Timmy scratched his head and yelled, "Felix! Is it because of what we said yesterday? We were just joking around, we didn't mean it." Brad tried to do damage control. "Yeah man, you're as straight as an arrow, no way you're gay." I looked at them blankly, a small smirk playing on my lips. "I thought about what you guys said. Trust me. My new arrangement is very interesting." After a bit more banter, the topic inevitably shifted back to Lily. While I was pretending to pay attention to the lecture, a flash of light crossed my vision, and the system's voice echoed in my head. "Ding! Congratulations! Day 2 reward from the small goal of 10 days skill has arrived. Please check your status." I pulled up the system interface in my mind. Name Felix, age 21, height 183 centimeters, appearance 95, aura 96. Seeing my updated bank balance, my mouth twitched into a smirk. This small goal skill is absolutely insane. The class flew by. The professor assigned homework and left. The students immediately packed up and sprinted out of the building, like bees fleeing a burning hive. Reaching the entrance, the guy at the front groaned, "Are you kidding me? Look at this rain!" My roommates and I walked out to see a massive downpour. The rain was relentless. Brad checked his phone and his face turned pale. "The forecast says it's only going to get worse." Timmy decisively threw his textbook over his head, waiting for a chance to make a run for it. The others looked at each other in despair, trying to figure out a game plan. One guy next to us tried the book shield method and bolted, but within seconds, his clothes were soaked. Shivering, he realized turning back was pointless and sprinted toward the dorms through the flood. Most of the students were trapped in the lobby, staring at the rain with faces full of absolute defeat. On the other side of the building, Chloe had just finished her class. Holding her books, she stepped out, sighed at the heavy rain. "If I hadn't crashed my car yesterday, I could just drive home right now." Hearing people complain around her, she thought about how nice it would be to have a car to help out. Too bad hers was in the shop. Luckily, she was the responsible type who checked the weather app, so she had an umbrella in her bag. She patted it, feeling relieved. While letting her mind wander, she scanned the crowd and suddenly spotted me. Tall, insanely handsome, standing out like a sore thumb. Chloe froze, her mouth slightly open in surprise. "Isn't that the guy I crashed into yesterday? We go to the same school?" Seeing me, she felt a wave of embarrassment and wanted to pop her umbrella and run. But seeing me stuck without an umbrella, her guilt flared up again. He doesn't have his car because of me, and he doesn't have an umbrella either. Chloe bit her lip, hesitating. Then, as if making a life-altering decision, she gripped her umbrella tightly and walked toward me. Suddenly, the crowd around me started buzzing. The guys who were about to run into the rain stopped dead in their tracks, mesmerized by a figure approaching. Chloe was walking through the crowd. She wore a white lace dress, her long black hair cascading down her shoulders. With light makeup on her oval face, her beauty was absolutely radiant. Even in the gloomy rain, she was the brightest thing around. The white lace made her look so pure, her aura even stronger than yesterday. Every eye locked onto her. You could hear the collective gasp from the crowd. The guys started whispering excitedly. As she walked closer, the Red Sea naturally parted for her. Brad and the guys saw her too. Looking at her flawless face, they couldn't help but stare unblinking. Brad, hyped beyond belief, nudged me. Felix, look, it's Chloe! You missed Lily yesterday, do not miss looking at Chloe today. Chloe was so pretty she was often compared to Lily. Brad stepped aside, making a path for her. He, like everyone else, assumed she was just going to open her umbrella and walk away, leaving them all in a state of unrequited longing. But instead, Chloe stopped right in front of me. She offered a gentle, breathtaking smile. Felix, the rain is really heavy. Do you want to share my umbrella? Those words froze the entire lobby. It was like someone hit the pause button on reality. Eyes darted wildly between me and Chloe. What is happening? Who is this guy? Did the school goddess just invite him under her umbrella? In that exact second, the sound of 100 male hearts shattering echoed in the spiritual realm. The guys glared at me with pure, unadulterated hatred. If looks could kill, I'd be a pile of ash. To make it worse, Chloe was looking at me with a shy, blushing face, her eyes sparkling like a girl falling in first love. It instantly triggered everyone's protective instincts, making the emotional damage to the crowd 100x worse. Brad and my roommates dropped their jaws so hard they practically hit the floor. They rubbed their eyes in disbelief. What the heck? Since when does Felix know Chloe? And she's sharing her umbrella? Has he been secretly dating the school goddess? While their brains short-circuited, I paused for a second, then nodded naturally. Sure. I took the umbrella from her and we walked out into the rain together. Without looking back, I gave a lazy wave to my roommates. That casual wave was the spark that ignited the powder keg. The crowd lost their absolute minds. That arrogant jerk! Taking our goddess wasn't enough, he has to mock us too. My roommate snapped out of it and started cursing too. Felix, you traitor, you've been dating Chloe and hiding it from us? No wonder he didn't care about looking at Lily yesterday. He already had a goddess on his arm. If you don't tell your bros you have a girlfriend, you're dead to us. Timmy suddenly stopped cursing and looked at the group. Wait, yesterday Felix didn't come back to the dorm. Do you think he was staying with Chloe off campus? The group went dead silent. Remembering I said I was moving out of the dorms, oh my god, it's real. Realizing their beloved goddess had been stolen right under their noses, the collective wailing and gnashing of teeth reached biblical proportions. Meanwhile, Chloe and I were walking under a single umbrella. My tall frame shielded her from the wind. Being this close, the atmosphere grew incredibly warm. Chloe's face was flushed red, she was biting her lip, her eyes darting nervously. This was the first time she had shared an umbrella with a guy, and her heart was beating like a drum. I noticed she was intentionally tilting the umbrella toward me. Her shoulder was getting wet, the white lace clinging slightly to her skin. Without thinking, I wrapped my arm around her shoulder and pulled her closer. The sudden movement startled Chloe, causing her to stumble right into my chest. She felt the solid, rock-hard muscles hidden under my shirt. Her face felt like it was on fire. From a distance, the broken-hearted mob saw this. Their rage skyrocketed into the stratosphere. Is he doing this on purpose? If you're going to be lovey-dovey, do it in private. Stop torturing us single dogs. Chloe isn't even fighting back. This is a public declaration of love. I can't take it anymore. My heart is bleeding. Even though we were far away, the shouting still reached us. Chloe heard it and panicked, trying to wiggle out of my grip. I leaned down and whispered, if I cover you like this, your shoulder won't get wet. That simple sentence instantly melted her resistance. She obediently leaned into me, genuinely touched. She didn't expect me to be so observant and caring. I kept my arm around her as we navigated the rain. Being this close, her sweet, subtle, girly scent drifted into my nose. It was intoxicating, making my heart do a little flutter. Chloe kept her head down, looking incredibly guilty. I'm really sorry about your car. Since you can't drive today, let me buy you lunch. I was planning on grabbing food anyway, so I immediately agreed. Right then, the system popped up. Ding! Random check-in opportunity triggered. Check-in successful! Reward, God tier vision skill. My eyes suddenly felt warm, and when I blinked, the entire world snapped into Ultra HD 4K resolution. It felt amazing. I casually glanced at Chloe next to me, and a holographic screen only I could see appeared. Name, Chloe. Height, 165 centimeters. Purity, 100%. I raised an eyebrow. This skill is actually pretty fun. The purity tracker is a wild feature. Chloe didn't notice the change in my expression. She spaced out for a second before looking up at me. Is there anywhere specific you want to eat? I shook my head, my voice softening. You pick! Hearing that, the corners of her mouth curled up into the sweetest smile. Okay! I know a really good place near campus. I'll take you. Under her guidance, we arrived at a popular restaurant during the lunch rush. It was packed. Chloe expertly navigated the crowd, found us an empty booth, and we sat down. While flipping through the menu, she asked nervously, "Do you have any allergies or foods you hate?" "Nope, not a picky eater." Relieved, Chloe expertly ordered the restaurant's signature dishes. She smiled at me. "I come here with my best friend all the time. These are the best things on the menu, you have to try them." She continued, "I didn't expect you to be a student at King's University too. What a coincidence." When the food arrived, we started chatting naturally. Chloe looked at me warmly. Sitting across from each other, she got a much closer look at my features, which completely reset her opinion of my looks. Yesterday, she was too panicked to notice anything beyond "he's cute." Today, up close, she realized I was drop-dead gorgeous. Plus, I had this unique, elegant, slightly mysterious aura. Every move I made was captivating. We were around the same age, our tastes clicked, and after a few sentences, it felt like we'd known each other for years. Chloe felt incredibly happy. Then the memory of me pulling her into my arms flashed in her mind. She couldn't shake it. The feeling of those solid muscles, vastly different from the average skinny college guy. It was pure, overwhelming masculinity. Thinking about it made her tiny face flush red without her even realizing it. Two chance encounters, this must be destiny. As soon as the thought appeared, she mentally slapped herself. "What are you thinking, you crazy girl?" But the thought refused to leave, and her face only got redder. Soon the food was laid out. I opened my takeout box and noticed Chloe spacing out, her face bright red. I waved my hand in front of her. "Hello, Earth to Chloe?" She jolted, quickly waving her hands. "Nothing, I'm fine. Try the food, see if you like it." I took a bite. The flavor and presentation were top-notch. "It's delicious." While eating, Chloe asked, "Where are you heading this afternoon? Do you have class?" I casually pointed in a random direction and asked her the same. "I rent a place near here, I'll probably just head back," she replied. Then, remembering my car was wrecked, the guilt returned. "Do you want me to give you a ride somewhere?" I waved it off. "No need, I've got it handled," she replied with a soft okay, then lowered her head, passionately putting food onto my plate. "Try this one." We had a great meal. Suddenly I put down my chopsticks. "I need to run to the restroom real quick." Chloe put hers down too, giving me an impossibly cute smile. "Okay." As soon as I walked out of the restroom, the system screen exploded in my face. "Ding, top-tier beauty has spent money on you. Unlocking ultimate freeloader skill. Reward. Random multiplier applied. 10,000x cashback. 20,000. 0 has been deposited. Please check your balance." Holy crap. Getting a free meal and walking away with $20 million? This freeloader skill is the most overpowered thing I've ever seen. While I was reeling from the shock, my phone buzzed. A text from Chloe. "Felix, I had an emergency and had to leave early. I left the umbrella at the table. Don't forget it. My house isn't far. I'll just run back." I read the text, dried my hands, and walked back to the table. Chloe was gone. The folded umbrella was sitting neatly by my plate. I stared at it with a deadpan expression. Am I seriously giving off such helpless broke boy energy that a girl is leaving her umbrella for me and running into a storm? Not finding her anywhere, I didn't overthink it. I grabbed the umbrella and left the restaurant. Meanwhile, Chloe was sprinting through the heavy rain, using her designer purse as a pathetic shield over her head, rushing toward her apartment. But the purse was useless. Within seconds, her clothes and shoes were completely soaked. She didn't care, just kept running faster. Suddenly, an Audi A6 driving nearby slowed down. The elegant woman in the driver's seat was about to change lanes when she spotted the running girl. She gasped, hit her turn signal, and rolled down the passenger window. "Chloe, get in!" Hearing a familiar voice over the honking, Chloe turned. Seeing her best friend Bella's elegant face, she practically cried tears of joy and ran over. The door popped open, and she threw herself into the warm car, letting out a massive sigh. "Oh my God, the AC feels amazing." Bella looked at the soaked, messy Chloe and shook her head helplessly. "Chloe, what on earth are you doing? Running in the rain without an umbrella? You know how far your place is. Do you ever think before you act?" Though it sounded like a scolding, it was dripping with concern. Chloe was used to Bella's mom energy and just gave her a massive, goofy grin, not bothering to explain. Bella suddenly remembered something. "Wait, didn't you just buy a new car? Where is it? Why aren't you driving?" Chloe froze. She absolutely did not want to confess that she totaled her brand new car on day one. She fake coughed and quickly changed the subject. "So, Bella, where are you going?" Bella didn't notice the suspicious deflection. "I'm heading to check on the antique shop. If you want to come, I can drop you off at your place to change first." Chloe didn't hold back with her best friend. She immediately rattled off her address and started pulling tissues from her bag to fix her disastrous appearance. Bella heard the address and chuckled. "Were you seriously going to run all the way there? Driving takes a few minutes, but running would take you forever." Chloe just offered a weak smile and stayed quiet. The two chatted happily as the car headed toward the apartment complex. Meanwhile, at a public parking lot near King's University, a group of young, well-dressed guys were hanging out. Mason, the unofficial leader of the group, was about to unlock his car when something caught his eye. He stopped dead. His eyes widened in absolute shock and disbelief. He swallowed hard and pointed. "Guys, look at that." The group turned their heads. Sitting silently in the lot was a blindingly beautiful fiery red Lamborghini supercar. Even standing still, its aggressive design made it look like it was alive. The crowd was instantly hypnotized. Their jaws dropped. Unable to believe their eyes, they swarmed the car, staring at every detail with burning passion. Dude! Mason's mouth twitched. This is a limited edition Lamborghini. There are only a handful of these in the entire world. Mason didn't join the loud chatter. He stared unblinking, leaning in close. Seeing a tiny speck of dust on the hood, he actually reached out and wiped it off tenderly. A true, hardcore car fanatic. Right then, I walked into the parking lot holding Chloe's umbrella. I saw a huge crowd swarming my car and frowned. What are they doing? I pulled the key fob out of my pocket and pressed the unlock button. Instantly, the Lamborghini's headlights flashed twice, like a beast winking mischievously. It was blinding. The sudden flash made everyone jump. Facing a multi-million-dollar hypercar, human instinct kicked in, and they collectively took a huge step back. Recovering from the scare, they spun around to see who triggered it. They saw me, holding the keys. Seeing my incredibly young face, the crowd collectively gasped. Their eyes were full of shock and disbelief. How is the owner this young? And looking at my face, nobody recognized me. Seeing the local license plates, they frowned in confusion. Which billionaire family did this kid pop out of? I walked over calmly and asked, "What's going on? Is there a problem?" Mason quickly put on his most friendly smile. "No problem at all. We're just massive gearheads. We saw the Lamborghini and couldn't help ourselves." He pointed to his own car. "My car is parked right next to yours. What a coincidence," he added enthusiastically. "Your car is the undisputed king of this lot. You can spot it from a mile away. We just had to get a closer look." Seeing that I wasn't mad, the crowd relaxed and started showering me with compliments. "Bro, your ride is legendary. This thing is a weapon. Driving this on the street will break people's necks." Absolute perfection. The praises for the Lamborghini didn't stop. "Hey man, let me introduce myself," Mason said eagerly, desperately wanting to network. "I'm Mason." The other guys and girls quickly followed suit, introducing themselves. I noted their friendly attitude, nodded, and smiled. "Nice to meet you all. I'm Felix." Mason looked at me and threw out a warm invitation. "Felix, are you free this afternoon? If you don't have plans, you should come hang out at my family shop with us." The others chimed in. "Yeah, Felix, come chill with us. It'll be fun." Faced with their enthusiasm, and realizing I had literally nothing else to do today, I smiled. "Sure, why not?" Seeing me agree, the crowd cheered and jumped into their cars. Mason drove his sports car at the front, leading the convoy. My Lamborghini followed, making it an insanely flashy parade down the street. We pulled up to a traditional antique-style building. It was a standalone structure, oozing classic elegance and history. I looked at the architecture in admiration. Noticing my gaze, Mason smiled proudly. "Felix, this is my family's shop. We deal in antiques. Usually it's pretty quiet, so I invite my friends over to liven the place up." Someone next to us nodded. I understood the antique business perfectly. There's a saying, you might not make a sale for 3 years, but one sale feeds you for 3 years. As we stood outside chatting, one of the girls pointed at a car parked nearby. "Oh, Bella's here." Mason looked over and groaned. My sister didn't even warn me she was coming. If I knew, I would have just stayed out." But since they were already here, he led everyone inside. We stepped over the threshold into the lobby. Sitting elegantly by a low tea table was Bella, brewing tea with the grace of flowing water. The fragrant scent of tea filled the room. She was completely immersed in the relaxing process. Hearing the commotion, she knew instantly it was her little brother and his loud friends. A hint of annoyance flashed in her eyes as she glanced toward the door. Mason walked in first and yelled, "Sis, why didn't you tell me you were coming to the shop? I would have hung out somewhere else." Bella rolled her eyes and scolded him gently. "Can you keep your voice down in the shop? You come in here yelling every day. It completely ruins the atmosphere." "This kid ruins my peaceful tea time every single time." The others walked in and greeted her politely. Bella smiled warmly at them. "Since you're here, take a seat. I just brewed some tea." As she spoke, she looked up and finally noticed me standing in the crowd. She paused. She had never seen me before. Since when does Mason hang out with guys who have this kind of intense, elegant aura? I looked back at her. The moment our eyes met, the system screen popped up. Physique 96, height 167 centimeters, purity 100%. I scanned the stats and squinted, taking a better look at her. Thanks to the ultimate freeloader skill, I noticed that even while sitting she couldn't hide her incredibly long legs or her very generous curves. It was impossible not to stare. I raised an eyebrow. The system gave her a 96 in physique. It's not lying. She had the kind of body that naturally made men want to protect her, combined with a stunning 97-point high-class face. Mason and the crew sat down. Since everyone already knew her, Mason introduced me. "Sis, this is my friend Felix. Felix, this is my older sister Bella. Nice to meet you." "Felix, please have a seat," she said with a friendly, intriguing smile. She liked my mysterious vibe. "You guys sit, I'll go get another tea set." She walked to the back, quickly returning with a clean cup and resumed brewing with practiced ease. She poured the tea into a sharing pitcher, then poured a cup specifically for me. "Please try it." I took the cup and thanked her. The rich, deep flavor of the tea filled my mouth, the warmth spreading through my body, relaxing me completely. I stayed quiet during the group's chatter, instead looking around the shop. The shelves were filled with countless items, neatly arranged with excellent taste. It was very pleasing to the eye. My eyes landed on a pastel porcelain plate. Suddenly the system screen flashed. Information about the plate's production year, historical value, and market price appeared vividly in my mind. I paused. Wait, so the God-tier vision isn't just for checking out girls' stats? It's a built-in antique appraiser. It was literally a real-life cheat code. A smirk appeared on my face. Figuring I might discover even more features later, I withdrew my gaze and calmly sipped my tea. After chatting for a bit, I put my cup down and walked over to the shelves, examining the antiques closely. Seeing this, Bella leaned over to Mason and whispered, "I've never seen this friend of yours. When did you meet him?" Mason didn't hold back. "He's insanely rich, sis. He drives a limited edition Lamborghini Veneno. Even the top-tier trust fund kids hide those in their garages, but Felix just casually drives it around town. He seemed cool, so I invited him." Mason then added a warning, "Don't treat him like a random tourist to fleece, okay? He's my guest. If you rip him off, I'll lose face." Bella glared at him. "What are you talking about? Our shop only sells authentic goods. You make it sound like I'm a scammer." She stood up and walked over, standing quietly next to me with a polite smile. Having finished examining the first shelf, I turned to her with a smile. "Your shop is fantastic. Every piece has a story. I'm actually looking to buy some decorations for my new house." Bella cheered internally. A wealthy customer. Before she could pitch anything, I continued, "This Qianlong-era pastel porcelain plate, $30,000. I'll take it." Bella's professional smile instantly froze. The entire group of friends went dead silent. The price tag on that plate was $100,000, and I just casually slashed it by 70%. I smiled and explained, "Qianlong pastel porcelain usually has specific usage marks on the rim or the base. If you flip it over, you can see the wear. While Qianlong pastels are beautiful and rare, driving the price up, this specific piece is in good condition with nice glaze, but the shape is fairly common. The actual market value is around $30,000. It's a very fair price." I looked right at her. "I don't know what you paid to acquire it, but based on the market, you're still making a solid profit at $30,000. Bella was completely speechless. She had planned to use the Qianlong name to hype up the price, but she ran straight into an absolute expert. She shot a side eye at Mason. "Where the heck did you find this guy?" Mason just gave her an innocent, bewildered shrug. Bella's expression shifted slightly. "This counteroffer is a bit too brutal. Could you come up a little?" I replied with absolute confidence. "You're not losing money at this price. Plus, I plan to buy a lot." Hearing "buy a lot," Bella's face bloomed into a radiant smile. She shot her brother a look that said, "Fine, I forgive you. All right, $30,000 it is. What else caught your eye?" My eyes swept across the room, and I started pointing. "That one, and that one." The crowd gasped, especially Mason's friends. Their eyes were bulging. I was casually pointing at items that cost millions. One girl snuck a peek at a price tag and sharply inhaled. Bella knew these items weren't cheap. She figured she'd make back the profit she lost on the plate. But then I dropped the hammer with a totally straight face. "Actually, skip those three. I'll take everything else on the entire first floor, Crix." Everyone's eyes looked like they were going to pop out of their sockets. These rich kids had seen money spent before, but someone walking into a high-end antique shop and saying, "I'll take the whole floor?" This was a first. Mason stared at me in disbelief. Bella was stunned for a few seconds before a massive beaming smile took over her face. Just as she was about to speak, I cut her off. "I'll take them, but I'm not paying sticker price. I'll price them item by item." I walked with Bella, pointing at things for her to appraise. She followed me with a pen and notepad. Slowly but surely her complexion darkened, and the corner of her mouth started twitching. This Felix guy is a literal demon collector. He knew every single detail of every antique and explained his pricing so flawlessly she couldn't even argue back. They moved outside to the main floor to finish appraising, then went into the back rooms. I barely even had to think. A quick glance and I gave the exact market value. Bella looked like she was about to cry. The prices were so low. Yes, she was making a profit on everything, but compared to her usual margins, it was peanuts. But if she didn't sell them now, who knew how long they'd sit collecting dust? It was a guaranteed bulk sale, but it felt like swallowing glass. She felt completely bullied by my pricing. Mason and his friends were in awe of my knowledge. Every word I said made total sense. Even though Bella was depressed, their admiration for me skyrocketed. I looked at a large vase, squinted, and gave my verdict. "Excellent condition. Great for a dining room centerpiece. $80,000. I'll take it." I reached out to grab it, but Bella suddenly snatched it away, hugging it to her chest like a protective mother bear, eyeing me with deep suspicion. "No, not for $80,000. I'm not selling this one." She had acquired this vase at a price very close to what I just offered. It felt like a personal attack. This vase became her final stand, her last shred of dignity. Bella was feeling incredibly wronged and angry. I never should have offered him tea. I never should have stood next to him. I definitely shouldn't have agreed to let him price things. "This is torture," she glared at Mason, her eyes screaming. "Why did you bring this monster here to torment me?" Mason just blinked innocently. I looked at the boss lady acting like a dramatic child. "What's wrong?" "Not selling. I'm not selling. Don't you dare look at this vase," she yelled, squatting on the floor and hugging the vase, looking incredibly pathetic. The contrast with her usual elegant high-class lady persona was hilarious. The crowd watched in shock. The girls felt bad for Bella, looking at me like I was a heartless monster who didn't know how to treat a lady. Even Mason took a step away from me. I sighed, walked over and squatted next to her, trying to comfort her. Hey, come on, boss lady, don't be like that. Fine, I won't buy this vase, okay? Bella wasn't convinced. She slowly stood up, still clutching the vase. You promise? You're not buying it? I nodded. Bella let out a massive sigh of relief and put the vase back. She instantly looked a bit happier. I decided to stop teasing her. Jokes aside, I'll just take what we've listed. I raised an eyebrow at her. But since I'm buying half your store, shouldn't the shop show a little appreciation? Bella took a deep breath, asking cautiously, You mean a free gift? That's how business is done, right? I smiled broadly. Bella groaned internally. Oh my god, what kind of shop gives free gifts on antiques? This guy is ruthless. How can someone so rich be so cheap? He's despicable. She was so angry she actually laughed, glaring at me. Thank God for modern laws, otherwise I'd strangle him right here. You big shot, you barely let me make a dime and now you want freebies, she snapped, clearly annoyed. I shrugged nonchalantly. Oh, okay, then I guess I won't buy any of it. Fine, you win. Knowing I had her by the throat, she forced a fake, generous smile. A gift it is. Our shop isn't stingy. We definitely know how to show appreciation. She stomped into the back room and pulled a small wooden box out of a drawer. Opening it, she revealed a top-tier jade bracelet, intricately carved with dragons and auspicious clouds. The craftsmanship was masterful. Mason saw it, and his eyes widened. Sis, isn't that the birthday gift you were going to give me? Before he could finish, Bella shot him a death glare that shut him up instantly. I loved it. I picked it up to examine it. The second my fingers brushed the jade, the system screen exploded. Ding! Top-tier beauty has spent $80,000 on you. Unlocking ultimate freeloader skill reward, random multiplier applied. 1000x cashback. 80,000 has been deposited. Please check your balance. My eyebrows shot up. My eyes burned with excitement. I was hoping for another 10 million multiplier to become a billionaire on the spot, but 1000x wasn't bad at all, I consoled myself. Hey, a massive profit is a massive profit. Free jade plus 80 million? I'll take it. Smirking, I told Bella, tally up the total for everything on the list. I'll pay right now. Hearing that I was actually paying, Bella's dark mood vanished. She grabbed her calculator, her fingers flying across the buttons, and showed me the final number. Here's the absolute lowest price, rounded down. Card or transfer? I handed her my bank card. Bella snatched it and swiped it instantly, terrified I'd change my mind. While she processed the payment, I mentally summoned the system. God tier check-in system. Age 21. Height 183 centimeters. Physique 95. Asset. Seeing the near $90 million bump in my balance put me in an amazing mood. What kind of shopping is this? This is purely high-yield investing. Even Wall Street wolves couldn't pull these margins. The system's rewards were too good. I needed to go on more shopping sprees like this. Mason stood next to me, completely dumbfounded. He realized that befriending me was the best decision of his life. The crowd watched in awe as I paid the astronomical bill without blinking. When they saw the receipt spit out of the POS machine, their eyes nearly fell out. Holy crap, Felix is a monster. Dropping $40 million on a random Tuesday afternoon? What kind of family is he from? And the craziest part was how young I was. The guys and girls sucked in a breath of cold air, realizing they were in the presence of a true titan. Their eyes filled with genuine respect and admiration. Bella handed me the receipt. The money hitting her account put her on cloud 9. Sure, the profit margin per item was thin, but the total volume was insane. Her yearly sales quota was crushed in a single afternoon. I was happy too. Looking around, I asked, You have a second floor, right? Let me see it. Bella nodded eagerly. Of course, I'll show you. When talking about the second floor, a hint of pride crossed her face. I noticed it, raised an eyebrow and followed her. One of Mason's friends whispered excitedly. They had been trying to get up to the second floor forever. Mason waved his hand. Come on, let's follow Felix. The group eagerly trailed behind us up the stairs. The second floor was massive, divided into several locked rooms. The truly top-tier items are kept here, Bella explained. What do you want to see first? I'll take you in. She led me to a door and unlocked it. Everyone filed into a climate-controlled room. The items were neatly arranged in gorgeous wooden display boxes. The group gasped. These shelves held astronomical value, the true treasures of the Mo family. Bella opened a box to reveal a landscape painting by a legendary master. You can only look from a distance, she warned, putting on white gloves just to handle the box. I looked at the painting and the system fed me the details. I knew instantly that these paintings were worth tens of millions each. It made sense. Regular antique shops didn't have the capital to hold inventory like this. One fake could bankrupt them. The Mo family clearly had deep pockets. Bella seemed eager to show off, presenting items worth at least a few million each, with some authentic pieces hitting the tens of millions. Man, there's a lot of good stuff here, I thought. But these were clearly not for regular sale. The real treasures were likely kept in the Mo family's private estate. Before I could ask, Bella guessed my thoughts and cut me off. I don't have the authority to sell anything on this floor. Honestly, if I could, I'd be thrilled, but treasures like these are managed strictly by the family elders. I nodded, understanding the situation. If I can't buy them, I can't buy them. No big deal. We spent the rest of the time touring the other rooms. Every time a door opened, the crowd lost their minds over the artifacts. Before we knew it, it was getting dark. I said my goodbyes. All right, I'm done shopping. It's late, I'm heading out. Bella asked, do you need me to arrange delivery for all this? No need, I'll transport it myself. I declined. Bella was confused, but seeing how firm I was, she didn't push it. We all headed downstairs. Bella and her staff brought out professional packing materials and carefully boxed up all the antiques. Mason pitched in to help. Finally, Bella slipped the massive receipt into one of the boxes. Right then, the system screen flashed. Ding! Host has received a random check-in opportunity. Check-in, yes. Check-in successful. Reward, God-tier physique. Instantly, a burning heat surged through my body. Endless explosive power filled my muscles. I clenched my fist, and the air literally cracked, my joints popping like firecrackers. The sudden noise startled everyone. Mason's eyes widened, and Bella looked shocked, instinctively checking the antiques to see if something broke. Everyone looked around for the source of the noise but found nothing, looking incredibly confused. I coughed awkwardly to cover it up. Well, everything is packed. I'll be going now. Bella asked everyone to help carry the boxes to my car. Seeing the blazing red Lamborghini again, their eyes were full of awe and excitement. I popped the trunk, which was surprisingly spacious, but not enough for all the boxes. I had them carefully stack the rest on the passenger seat. I thanked everyone and drove off. Bella and the group watched my taillights disappear into the distance. She turned to Mason, pinched his waist hard, and scolded him. Look at him, then look at you. You know absolutely nothing except how to play around. How are you supposed to inherit the family business acting like this? Mason rubbed his side, feeling incredibly wronged. What did I even do? I brought you a VIP. You're just taking your anger out on me because he scammed you on the prices. Before he could finish, Bella pinched his cheek. Under his sister's tyrannical threat, Mason quickly apologized. One of the guys sighed in awe. Felix is ruthless, man. He didn't hold back at all when buying. The others nodded in strong agreement. Seeing my absolute baller shopping style, sweeping a high-end antique shop clean, dropping tens of millions, and then casually throwing it all into a Lamborghini without even asking for delivery, was a massive flex. Mason nodded too, suddenly remembering something. Hey sis, I noticed Felix really liked that jade bracelet you gifted him. Everyone looked at Bella, her face dusted with a light blush. She quickly put on a stern boss face. Go away, it's late, everyone go home. She turned and practically ran back into the shop. Mason watched her go, feeling like she was definitely running away from something. But he didn't overthink it, turning back to the crew to plan their next hangout spot. Meanwhile, I was humming a tune, cruising back to Villa number 1 in the Lambo. At the villa, Anna and her staff were finishing up their daily cleaning and maintenance. She was currently arranging a fresh bouquet of flowers, trimming the stems with professional precision. If I add some carnations, it'll look perfect, she murmured to herself. Just then, the roar of a V12 engine echoed outside. Anna put down the flowers and ran out. Seeing me pull into the driveway, she instinctively called out, Mr. Fee. She caught herself. Felix, you're back! I parked, stepped out, and waved with a smile. Perfect timing. Give me a hand with this, will you? Of course! Anna hurried over. Seeing me lift a heavy wooden box from the car, she reached out. Let me help, that looks heavy. She nodded and we each grabbed a few boxes, making several trips until the car was almost empty. I'll grab the last one, I said. While carrying a box inside, Anna noticed a piece of paper flutter to the ground. She stopped to pick it up. What's this? She mumbled. Seeing the clear print, she froze. She stared at it, her brain trying to process what she was seeing. It was a receipt detailing that every single box she just carried was filled with priceless antiques. She stopped walking, her eyes zeroed in on the total price at the bottom, counting the zeros. Her mouth twitched. Outwardly, she remained calm, but internally she was screaming. A tidal wave of shock crashed over her. The stuff I was just casually hauling into the house is worth tens of millions of dollars? If I had known how expensive this was, I wouldn't have dared to breathe near it, let alone carry it. Anna placed a hand over her racing heart, took a deep breath to compose herself, and slowly, carefully carried the box into the villa. When she walked in, I was already cracking open the boxes, casually picking up the antiques and examining them. I was incredibly satisfied with today's haul. Every piece was top-tier quality. Anna watched me manhandle the priceless artifacts like they were cheap plastic toys from a dollar store. She felt like ants were crawling under her skin. Oh my God! How can he hold something so expensive so casually? He looks so careless. Based on her property management training, items like these required white gloves and extreme care. She stood there watching for a long time before finally calming down. She couldn't handle the stress of watching this billionaire flex anymore. Felix, I'm going to start cooking dinner. What would you like to eat? She asked, sighing to release her pent-up shock. I gave her a warm smile. Whatever you want to make is fine. Okay, she nodded. Since I gave her free rein, she decided to make a perfectly balanced, nutritious meal. A little while later, Anna emerged from the kitchen wearing an apron over her black uniform. Dinner is ready, please come eat. She went back to the kitchen and started bringing dishes to the table. Instantly, an incredibly rich, mouth-watering aroma filled the room. I put down the antique I was holding, washed my hands, and sat at the table. Looking at the perfectly presented food, I raised an eyebrow and smiled. Your cooking skills are amazing. It smells incredible. I'm glad you like it. Anissa smiled softly, taking off her apron. Please take your time eating. I'll go back to work. Seeing her about to leave, I quickly stopped her. Hey, no rush. Work can wait. It's a shame to let good food get cold. Sit down and eat with me. Anna heard the genuine sincerity in my voice. She thought about it for a second and didn't refuse. She smiled and sat down. All right then, I won't be polite. We sat across from each other, enjoying a rare, quiet meal together. I didn't expect someone so young to be such a good cook, I said, taking a bite of the roasted pork ribs. The rich flavor exploded in my mouth. I couldn't help but praise her. I'm not just saying this, it's actually amazing. You could rival a master chef. I'm really lucky to have you managing the house. Anna blushed slightly at the compliment. She bit her lip, looking incredibly shy and cute. She slowly scooped rice into her bowl, her fair face tinted with a rosy pink, looking more beautiful than a sunset. We quickly finished the meal. Anna grabbed my bowl as I was about to clear the table and took everything into the kitchen. When she came back out, I pointed to the antiques. Let's arrange these porcelain pieces around the house to decorate. Hearing that, Anna let out a squeak. Huh? She understood every word I said, but put together it made zero sense. These are multi-million-dollar antiques. National treasures. Shouldn't they be locked in a climate-controlled vault? He wants to leave them out in the open? She looked at me with deep confusion. I just nodded, picking up a vase. I mean, it's a vase, right? Put some water in it and stick some flowers in. Let's see how it looks. I nodded to myself, clearly loving my own genius idea. Anna thought, is this what being ultra-rich does to your brain? He literally does not care about the value at all. Even though she had managed luxury villas for years, she had never met an owner this casually insane. She took a few seconds to process reality, then nodded. Following my instructions, she carefully poured water into a Qing dynasty vase and placed her freshly cut flowers inside. She didn't forget to expertly arrange the colors to match the aesthetic. She did the same for a few other vases and placed them on the tables. Instantly, the villa came alive. Just looking at the setup improved my mood significantly. I sat on the sofa watching Anna work, feeling amazing. I practically got these for free, made an $80 million profit, and now they were making my house look great. Maximum utility achieved. While I was basking in my perfect life, the system screen flashed. Ding, host has received a random check-in opportunity. Check-in? Yes, check-in successful. Reward, 1x God-tier guard dog. Please check outside. A God-tier guard dog? I raised an eyebrow, not saying anything. A little later, Anna finished decorating the villa. She said goodbye and headed back to the property management office to finish her shift. I sat for a bit longer before walking out to the courtyard. Standing in the middle of the yard, I saw a massive black shadow charging toward the gates. Based on how fast the shadow was growing, its speed was terrifying. As it got closer, I could hear heavy, echoing pants. When it reached the gate, I finally got a clear look. It was a Belgian Mastiff, but it was absurdly huge, the size of a fully grown lion. Its physique was breathtaking, muscles rippling under its sleek black coat as it ran. It was a terrifyingly beautiful beast. I squinted, a flash of surprise crossing my face. Holy crap, a god-tier guard dog is this massive? Just looking at it makes me feel perfectly safe. The system delivers again. While I was admiring it, the dog didn't stop at the gate. Using its momentum, the giant beast leaped entirely over the massive wrought iron fence with effortless grace, landing perfectly on all fours without losing speed, charging straight at me. Yep, definitely a system reward. This thing is ferocious. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed a dog that size could clear the fence so easily. To say it was intimidating was an understatement. If I didn't have the god-tier physique giving me superhuman strength and speed right now, even knowing it was my reward, I probably would have flinched. Getting tackled by this monster would take half my life points. The dog slid to a halt right in front of me, panting heavily, its tongue lolling out. It immediately started doing circles around my legs. It used its massive head to affectionately nuzzle my leg. It seemed to know how huge it was, moving carefully so it wouldn't knock me over. But even with it being careful, its wildly wagging tail hit my legs like a rubber whip. Seeing this giant beast try to act like a lapdog, I burst out laughing and reached down to pet its head. Feeling its master's touch, the dog was ecstatic, leaning into my hand to soak up the affection. Good boy, I praised, stroking its incredibly soft coat. I looked around the empty yard and realized I had nothing prepared. No custom doghouse, no leash, no dog food, not even a water bowl. With a dog this awesome, I wasn't going to let it rough it. Checking my watch, I saw it was still early. I looked down at the giant furball. You guard the house, okay? I'm gonna go buy you some stuff. Understand? The dog's ears perked up. When I finished speaking, it let out a deep, thunderous woof, then trotted over to the front gate. It lay down, assuming a highly alert, guarding posture. Looking at its vigilant, muscular form radiating power, I felt incredibly satisfied. A god-tier guard dog indeed. Absolute premium quality. Leaving the dog on guard duty, I happily walked to the garage, hopped in the car, and drove out of Imperial Gardens. Having lived in this city for years, I knew my way around and quickly arrived at the local pet district. The street was lined with colorful, flashy pet store signs. Vet clinics sandwiched between the stores were blasting promotions on loudspeakers. Pet spaying and neutering. Buy 3, get 1 free. Return the peace and quiet to your home. The street wasn't very wide to begin with, and with shops leaving cages of cats and dogs on the sidewalk waiting to be sold, it felt even narrower. Deciding not to navigate the Lambo through the chaos, I parked on a side street and decided to walk. I was planning to find a shop, buy some temporary supplies, and then order custom-made gear for the giant beast later. A promoter trying to pull customers saw me walking by. Her eyes lit up and she rushed over to hand me a flyer. Before she could even give her pitch, she got a close look at my face. Her heart skipped a beat, her face turned bright red, and she completely forgot to do the most important thing: ask for my number. I took the flyer and was looking at the products listed, trying to decide what to buy, when suddenly, a pale, delicate hand reached out from behind me and gently tapped my shoulder. Thanks to my boosted reflexes, I spun around instantly. I was met with an incredibly beautiful face, smiling as bright as a blooming flower. Her skin was flawless, her eyebrows delicate like willow leaves, making her clear, watery eyes sparkle even more. She looked softer than a peach blossom in spring, instantly making anyone want to cherish her. Her long hair was tied back simply, giving her an elegant yet slightly lazy vibe that only made her look more stunning. She looked up at me. She was actually quite tall for a girl, and her light blue tracksuit couldn't hide her perfect curves. I looked at her flawless face, slightly surprised. Then, my attention was stolen by the little creature in her arms. It was a ragdoll cat lounging lazily against her soft curves. Honestly, looking at it made me a little jealous. The cat looked at me with clear blue eyes. This feline was top tier. It could debut as a cat supermodel tomorrow. Seeing me spin around so fast, the girl paused. Her eyes scanned my face and she suddenly gasped in excitement. Felix? The system screen popped up instantly. Physique, 98, height, 170 centimeters, purity, 100%. Recognizing the familiar name, a smile touched my lips. I nodded warmly. Hey Fiona. Seeing that I remembered her, Fiona's mood skyrocketed. She waved enthusiastically. Long time no see, Felix. Oh my god, you got so handsome. People always say girls have glow-ups when they get older, but I never expected a guy to change this much. I only dared to look at you from a distance earlier. When you turned around, I almost didn't dare to say hi. Her beautiful eyes were full of genuine admiration. She wasn't hiding it. I was good looking back in the day, but now, I looked like a literal deity. I smiled at Fiona. Memories from high school came flooding back. Fiona was my classmate. Because she was so beautiful, she was the undisputed class rep and the school goddess. She was the multi-talented art committee head, famous throughout the school. Normally, we didn't interact much, but once, during an art exhibition, she asked me to perform on stage with her. Even though I was just average back then, standing next to her and receiving applause from the massive crowd was one of the few highlights of my teenage years. After that, we got a bit closer. I was pretty quiet, so I'd join her study group. Since her family was wealthy, she often bought everyone food and looked out for me a lot. But after graduation, we drifted apart. I never expected to run into her here. Long time no see. You're getting prettier by the day, I said. It wasn't just flattery. The system didn't lie. She was a 98, scoring higher than the incredibly elegant Bella. What brings you to the pet street? I asked. Fiona gently bounced the cat in her arms and laughed. I'm buying food for this little guy. I was heading to Luke's shop. Luke? I smirked. Luke was another guy from our old study group. We were pretty tight back then. That guy opened a pet shop? Hearing my surprised tone, Fiona shook her head in disbelief. No way, you really didn't know? I thought you just lost touch with me. I didn't know you cut off Luke too. Fiona seemed to realize something. She figured that because my family was poor, I probably isolated myself due to an inferiority complex. She kept the thought to herself, her face still beaming with the excitement of our destined reunion. Back at graduation, she had been too shy and scared to give me a special gift she prepared, leaving words unspoken. Taking a deep breath, she looked at my handsome face and made a decision. If fate brought us together again, I have to seize the opportunity this time. But it had been years. She pushed down her excitement, not wanting to scare me off by coming on too strong. While she was lost in thought, I noticed her zoning out and chuckled. What's on your mind, Miss Goddess? Nothing. Nothing. Just thinking randomly. She quickly waved her hands, her face flushing pink. She didn't dare say her thoughts out loud. She quickly changed the subject. We've had a few class reunions, but we could never reach you, so you never came. You probably don't know about Luke. After he bombed the college entrance exams, he was too lazy to retake them, so he went to community college but dropped out. Later, his dad gave him a chunk of money and he started a business. You know how Luke is, he's loved animals since we were kids. He thought about it and opened a pet shop. Fiona explained everything in detail, shaking the ragdoll cat. Since I got this cat, I figured I'd support an old friend, so I come here a lot. I nodded slowly. I knew about the reunions, but I intentionally ignored the invites. Back then I was basically an NPC, a background character. Going would have just been awkward. Fiona noticed my expression, thinking I was remembering bad times. She pouted her red lips in annoyance. Honestly, you were right not to go. You have no idea. Our old class president, Leo, and his little minions are so arrogant now. It's sickening. They're so incredibly fake. Other people carry plastic bags, they carry trash bags because they're full of garbage. I'm not even exaggerating. They annoyed me so much I stopped going to the reunions altogether. Just thinking about them makes me mad. Fiona ranted for a bit before tilting her head looking at me. Listen to me rambling. I forgot to ask the most important thing. What are you doing here? I'm buying dog food and some supplies, I said honestly. Saw there were a lot of shops here, so I came to take a look. Fiona smiled sweetly. Oh, perfect. I'll take you to Luke's shop. He only sells authentic stuff, you can trust it. Since she was a massive pet lover, she talked non-stop about pet supplies, explaining the basics to me as we walked. I listened attentively. The two of us walking side by side, a top-tier handsome guy and a stunningly beautiful girl, instantly became the focal point of the entire street. After walking for a bit, Fiona pointed to a modest shop in the distance. Look, right there, that's Luke's place. I followed her finger and saw a small shop with a clean, simple yellow sign. The storefront wasn't cluttered like the others. Everything was organized and professional, very much in line with Luke's personality. The shop also offered boarding services, small but highly professional. Before we even got to the door, Fiona was already pointing through the glass window, introducing the pet enclosures to me. I nodded. Our old friend clearly took his business seriously. Fiona walked ahead, carrying her ragdoll, and pushed the door open. A soft, melodic bell chimed. We walked in and saw a figure squatting in front of the enclosures, speaking in an incredibly gentle voice. Be a good boy, eat a lot so you can grow up big and strong. If you didn't know better, you'd think he was coaxing a human toddler. Hearing the bell, the figure put the scoop of dog food back into the bag and stood up, looking toward the door. Fiona walked over, winking mischievously. Hey Luke, look who I brought! Hearing her, Luke paused, put the food bag down, and looked behind her. Seeing my tall frame, he froze. Then pure joy exploded on his face. Holy crap, are my eyes working? No way, Felix! Get in here, sit down! Luke was ecstatic. He scrambled to grab a chair for me. Wait here, let me get you some water. Seeing me walk in with Fiona made him incredibly happy. He ran around frantically, grabbing water, then snacks, acting like a headless chicken. All right, stop panicking, just sit down. I laughed, feeling a warm glow in my chest. Even after all these years, the bond was still there. Time hadn't eroded our friendship at all. You drink some water, let me finish feeding this dog real quick. Give me a sec, Luke said, heading back to the enclosure. I looked around the shop. It was spotless. Every corner shined. Even with so many cats and dogs boarded here, there was no bad smell. Instead, there was a faint, pleasant scent of jasmine. He clearly cleaned constantly. Man, your little shop is doing great, I praised. Business looks solid with all these pets boarding here. Luke, still coaxing a dog to eat, laughed bitterly. Bro, don't tease me. My tiny shop can't compete with the big guys. I'm not like you guys who went to college. I only know how to do manual labor. Once I hit the real world, I realized how important education is. Too bad there's no cure for regret. Luckily, my family supported me and gave me the money to open this. I have to make it work to pay them back. He finished feeding the dog, washed his hands, and walked over. So Felix, what brings you in today? Just got a dog, need some supplies, so I came to take a look. I smiled, explaining how I bumped into Fiona and she dragged me here. Hearing what I needed, Luke grinned. No problem at all. I've got everything you need, don't worry about it. He looked at me with a massive, welcoming smile. But hold your horses. Let's catch up first. Dude, I thought you went Maya. You disappeared for years, didn't contact anyone. Did you forget about your bros? The three of us sat together, swapping old stories and laughing loudly. The vibe was perfect. It felt like we had time traveled back to high school, back to being carefree teenagers. While we were laughing, an obnoxiously loud engine roar suddenly echoed from outside, startling everyone in the shop. We all looked toward the door. An Audi A6 violently pulled up and parked right in front. The exhaust was definitely modified to be as loud and obnoxious as possible. Inside the shop, the sleeping cats and dogs woke up in a panic. The dogs started barking and growling in warning. Even the lazy ragdoll in Fiona's arms started squirming anxiously. Hey, it's okay, shh, you're fine. Fiona quickly hugged the cat tightly, trying to soothe it, but her eyes shot daggers toward the car outside. The Audi's doors popped open, and a few young guys stepped out. Seeing them, Fiona frowned in absolute disgust. She leaned in close to my ear and whispered, Ugh, today is the worst. How did we run into them here? Talk about bad luck. I raised an eyebrow and looked at her. Catching my gaze, she blinked and subtly gestured outside. I narrowed my eyes, looking through the glass. The guys outside weren't strangers. Leading the pack was our old high school class president, Leo. Following behind him were his classic lackeys. I guess some things never change. They were still a tight little pack of bullies. I immediately understood what Fiona meant. Running into these clowns on a good day really was bad luck. Leo pushed the door open with the arrogance of a king entering his throne room. His face immediately scrunched up in disgust. What is this tiny, cramped little shack? It smells awful. But then he spotted Fiona sitting inside. Seeing the school goddess, Leo's face did a 180. He slapped on a greasy, overconfident smile, his eyes lighting up. His lackeys behind him saw her too, their eyes going wide at how stunning she looked. Leo puffed out his chest, ready to walk over and flirt. But then he noticed the guy sitting right next to her. They were sitting very close. Fiona's warm, smiling face instantly turned freezing cold the second she saw Leo. Leo's good mood vanished. He glared at me. Seeing my face clearly, he paused, then recognized me. Well, if it isn't Felix. Leo's tone was incredibly hostile, but since we were old classmates, he had to acknowledge me to get to Fiona. He remembered me as the quiet background character from high school. His voice dripped with sarcasm. Man, you've been a ghost these past few years. We invited you to so many reunions and you never showed, acting like a big shot, huh? He looked me up and down with blatant disrespect. Felix, you really don't give your old classmates any face. Leo was ready to pick a fight to make himself look tough. But before he could continue, Fiona cut him off, sharply. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. Nobody forced you to talk. Fiona had reached her limit. Who does Leo think he is? Be as fake as you want, but the second you walk in here and attack Felix, we have a problem. Hearing Fiona defend me, Leo's face turned ugly. But since she was the goddess, he chose to swallow his anger. His lackeys, however, glared at me with pure venom. They hadn't seen me in years, but they knew Fiona was heavily protective of me. Anything they said would just make her hate them more. Luke immediately sensed the tension. He frowned and tried to change the subject. Felix, how did you get here? Can you carry all this stuff? Luke had already prepared a mountain of dog supplies for me. It was piled up on the floor. I looked at the pile and laughed. Yeah, definitely not. My car only seats 2, let alone taking all this. Just this crate alone won't fit. I pulled out my phone. How much for all this? Luke immediately waved his hands. What money? Just take it. If you need more, call me. I shook my head, looking at him seriously. No way. If you don't take my money, I'm never showing my face in here again. If you don't give me a price, I'm just gonna guess and transfer it. Seeing my serious expression, Luke knew I wasn't joking. He quickly calculated the at-cost price. I didn't say a word, just scanned his QR code and paid instantly. Seeing me pay so fast, Luke looked at the mountain of supplies and scratched his head. All right, just leave it here for now. I'll deliver it to you later. Good friends get door-to-door service. He figured since I was a new dog owner, he could go over and teach me the ropes. I nodded and stood up, ready to go get my car. Seeing me stand, Fiona jumped up immediately. Wait for me, I'm coming with you. I looked at her. She stared right back into my eyes, blinking cutely. What? You run into an old friend and you're just gonna abandon me? You expect me to walk home carrying a cat? I chuckled at her pout. All right, fine, I'll give you a ride. Seeing Fiona about to leave with me, Leo panicked. He rushed forward, putting on his cool guy smile. Fiona, let me give you a ride. I've got my car right outside. He proudly pointed to the obnoxious Audi A6 out front, looking incredibly smug. He assumed any girl with a brain would choose the luxury car. Fiona slowly turned her head and looked at Leo. His smug, greasy face made her physically nauseous. Without a second thought, she ran over to my side, not even bothering to look back at him. Her choice couldn't have been clearer. Watching us walk away, Leo's face contorted in rage. He felt entirely humiliated. She's so pretty. Why is her brain so tiny? What does that loser have? He's a broke orphan. He didn't even dare to show up to the reunions because he couldn't afford to pitch in. Now he probably drives a cheap electric scooter, and she's swooning over him. Just wait, you'll regret this, his lackey sneered, feeling bad for his boss. What the hell is Felix anyway? Just a pretty face. If he wasn't good looking, why would Fiona have ever asked him on stage? He's just a boy toy. He agreed with Leo. Pretty girls were stupid. What does Felix have? He went to some garbage college, probably works a dead-end manual labor job. How dare he show his face here and pollute our eyes? The lackey didn't just insult me, he dragged Luke down too. Luke is at the bottom of the food chain. No wonder he's friends with that loser. Trash attracts trash. Leo, furious, walked over to the corner of the shop, heading straight for the cat enclosures. He looked through the glass at a sleeping kitten. Hey, wake up, stupid cat! Seeing the cute cat made him feel a tiny bit better. But when he tapped the glass and the cat ignored him, his rage flared again. This stupid cat dares to ignore me too? Taking his anger out on the animal, he slammed his fist hard against the glass. The loud bang terrified the sleeping kitten. Hey! Luke barked, unable to hold back anymore. Can you stop? You're scaring the cats! What am I scared of? Leo sneered in disgust. It's just a stupid cat. You think I can't afford to buy it? His lackey immediately chimed in. Yeah, our boss Leo has top-tier taste. You think a cheap street cat catches his eye? Don't be so sensitive, Luke. We know your little shop is struggling. Hopefully, you'll get some actual good breeds in soon so Leo can buy one. Though honestly, even if you sold a kidney, you probably couldn't afford to stock a real pedigree cat. Hearing them, Luke was seething. He couldn't take it anymore. Hold on. I have to go deliver Felix's stuff right now. If you guys are busy, you should leave. He was trying to kick them out politely. But before he could finish, Leo and his goons waved him off arrogantly. Nah, don't worry about it. Since you have to run a tiny errand, we'll just sit here and play cards to watch the shop for you, right here in the store. Luke stared at them. Are you kidding me? The audacity of these guys. Meanwhile, Fiona and I were walking down the street together. She frowned slightly, complaining, those guys are so annoying. Running into them is the absolute worst. She didn't finish her thought, sneaking a glance at me. Even though they were annoying, she was secretly thankful. Because of them, she got to ride on my electric scooter. She could hold on to my waist, completely justified. It was the perfect plan. Thinking about it, Fiona felt giddy. It felt incredibly romantic. She bit her lip, trying to suppress her excitement. Felix is so fit now. Hugging his waist is definitely a massive win. Her face felt like it was on fire. She had never been this close to a guy before, and she was genuinely looking forward to it. But suddenly Fiona looked down at the ragdoll cat in her arms and panicked. Wait, a scooter is tiny. Where am I supposed to put the cat? This cat is literally blocking me from hugging him. Realizing her flawless plan had a fatal flaw, Fiona felt like she was taking a massive loss. She glared at the poor innocent cat in frustration. We kept walking and talking. Fiona felt like she had a million things she wanted to tell me. Looking at my handsome, smiling face, she felt incredibly happy and full of life. Soon, we arrived at the public parking lot. Fiona watched as I didn't stop at the scooter racks but kept walking straight past them. She looked confused. Felix, where's your scooter? I pointed a little further ahead. Over there. Oh. Fiona pressed her lips together but didn't say anything. She figured since it was my first time at the pet street, I didn't know where to park and had parked far away. She understood. Time flies when you're talking, and the short walk felt like seconds. Fiona looked around the lot. There were a ton of luxury cars parked here. She mumbled softly. You parked here? I don't think they let scooters park in these spots. She bit her lip, about to warn me that the parking attendants might get mad. She saw me nod as if I accepted her warning, but I had no idea what she was talking about. I pulled the key fob from my pocket and gave it a light press. Not far away, the fiery red Lamborghini supercar flashed its lights, blindingly bright in the parking lot. Seeing the lights flash, Fiona's mouth dropped open. She stared at the mechanical beast waking up before her, sucking in a massive breath of cold air. Her eyes were filled with absolute reality-shattering disbelief. She almost didn't trust her own eyes. This car, Fiona stood frozen for a long time. The shock in her eyes was about to overflow. The Lamborghini supercar was the absolute peak. It was like the most seductive, breathtaking goddess of the car world. Felix, is this your car? Fiona took a deep breath, trying several times just to suppress the earthquake happening in her heart.